24th of January 2022, greetings from Rwanda's capital Kigali. Here is what makes our top stories tonight. Today, President Paul Kagame concluded his working visit to Mauritania, where he was seen off by His Excellency Mohamed Sheikh El Ghazouani of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and other officials.
The heads of state of countries part of the meeting of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region have gathered in Kinshasa for the 10th Summit on the Regional Oversight Mechanism of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework for the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Great Lakes region.
The Rwandan Ministry of Trade and Industry has signed an agreement known as the Simplified Trade Regime with the Democratic Republic of Congo to facilitate the formal traders for cross-border trade. A very good evening to and welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa.
And my name is Martina Avera.
How are you, Martina?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm very great.
All right, let's start this.
And as we begin off tonight's edition, let us inform you that today President Paul Kagame concluded his working visit to Mauritania, where he was seen off by His Excellency Mohamed Sheikh El Ghazouani of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and other officials. During the visit, President Paul Kagame held a tete-a-tete with President Mohamed Sheikh El Ghazouani, which was followed with bilateral meeting between members of both delegations. Afterwards, cooperation agreements were signed between both countries, focusing on a number of sectors that include security and the military, ICT, mining, agriculture, investment, and more. Before he ended his working visit on Thursday in Nouakchott, President Paul Kagame visited the G5 Sahel Defense College, a regional institution that trains officers from the 5 countries of the Sahel region and beyond.
The heads of state of countries part of the meeting of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region have gathered in Kinshasa for the 10th Summit on the Regional Oversight Mechanism of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework for the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Great Lakes region. During the meeting, Rwandan Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente represented the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Kagame. The meeting was also attended by the Chairperson of the African Union Commission and other high-ranking officials representing the heads of state who weren't able to make it. President Antoine Felix Tshisekedi, who was given the responsibility of leading mechanism, showed that 9 years after the Addis Ababa agreement was signed, there have been many changes in the region, especially the efforts to fight the bodies that disrupt the peace and security in these countries, in the regions, especially those that are based in the forests.
That peace, which is the basis of any development, will be found in cooperation in ending the war and the perpetrators of the atrocities, and the security crisis that has plunged the region for more than 2 decades in general, and in east of the Democratic Republic of Congo in particular.
The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, praised the region's progress in resolving disputes, including political disagreements and border disputes.
These days, there is a good atmosphere in this region. There is reconciliation between the regions, the opening of borders, including coexistence. Brotherhood activities are on the rise. People are shaking hands, and all other activities that show Africa and the world at large that Africans are willing to a future that built of security and is suitable and development-oriented.
And as we move ahead to other matters, senators are calling on the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, MINUWUMNGE, to put more effort in dealing with activities meant to deny and negate the genocide against the Tutsi, because this continues to give room for those with genocidal ideologies. Innocent Mugabo has the report.
The discussions that brought together the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, MINUWUMNGE, and the senators were aimed at outlining its objectives and responsibilities as it has been in place for 6 months now. The Senate normally monitors the implementation of the Constitution in various levels of the government. Institutions including the National Commission for the Fight Against Genocide, CNLG, the Genocide Survivors Assistance Fund, FALJ, the National Unity and Reconciliation Commission and the National Itorero Commission were all merged into the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, MINUWUMNGE. Dr. Bizimana Jandamansen, the Minister of the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, explains more of the integration. There was a need for one institution to coordinate all the responsibilities, since they are closely related. So, after making an analysis, we realized that the best thing was to set up a ministry, which is in a cabinet, with as much weight as the ministry has more than an institution. Preserving the history of the country, strengthening the unity of Rwandans, and civic education are the goals of this ministry called Minubumwe in abbreviation. It has 26 responsibilities, of which up to 18 are related to the history of the genocide against the Tutsi. Research on both the country's recent and ancient history and preserving it is one of the activities that the ministry says is a priority. The ministry is expected to pay special attention to the preservation of the history of the genocide and the preservation of its electronic evidence, written testimonies, and more. Senators have called for more efforts to crack down on online genocide deniers, as some of whom live abroad.
Isn't there anywhere through technology can the ministry be able to deal with online genocide deniers, like through telecommunication companies to deal with those that publish it on social media?
We used to see changes after Rwanda Day. Their youths we used to chat and tell me that they didn't know what was really happening in the country. One tells you that how they teach me Rwanda is how I perceive it. Someone from Stanford University, a reputable university. So the problem here is how these people get information. There should be a right channel, because these people will end up being future threats to the country. Some people are withholding a lot to do with genocide history, so if Minubumwe manages to deal with this issue, I believe through working together as Rwandans, we shall be able to deal with these other problems. The Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement finds that there are issues that need to continue to be addressed and supported from the grassroots level so that the country may have patriots. The Senate that recently finished its term also conducted a study on genocide denial and its activities abroad. There is a need for an update because this problem keeps on changing. People who do this do it intentionally and know the truth, like the Feridina Nahimanas. So we need to keep making updates. The senators have suggested that national history classes be put up from primary school to universities and teachers trained on how to teach the subject, as there are also those who are afraid of teaching it. Innocent Mogabo, RTV News.
Thank you, Innocent, for that report. Moving on, the Rwandan Ministry of Trade and Industry has signed an agreement known as Simplified Trade Regime with the Democratic Republic of Congo to facilitate the formal traders for cross-border trade. There will be a tax exemption on goods worth not more than $500 per day per person, and there will be a follow-up of goods that will be exported. The meeting between the two sides was via video conferencing. It was attended by various representatives of various government institutions. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Beata Habyarimana, has noted that the Memorandum of Understanding is beneficial for both countries.
Today we have signed a simplified trade regime with the Democratic Republic of Congo. For us, those are an agreement to have signed with them to facilitate informal trade. Rwanda has been progressing a lot in terms of trading with DRC, where we have almost increased for formal trade by 64% between 2020 and 2021, and by 181% for informal trade. The current agreement for the simplified trade regime will facilitate the informal traders as long as they have goods for a maximum of $500 per day per person. That will be facilitated in terms of duties and customs, and in terms of payment they have to proceed with at the customs services. The second thing which is related to this agreement is based on the 106 products eligible to the simplified trade regime, and those products will be able to be exempted to taxes and custom duties for our traders and the Congolese traders. The 106 products includes food items, vegetables, fruits, livestock and products from livestock, textile, wood, and a couple of those kind of products. And we think it is of great benefit for our informal traders Before COVID, we had 50,000 people crossing the borders from DRC and Rwanda per day. And in 2020, during the COVID period, we had just 6,000. But in 2021, we have grown up to, again, 21,000 people crossing the borders per day. And we think that this agreement for the simplified trade regime will facilitate the flow of trade between DRC and Rwanda.
And as we move ahead into other matters, in the beginning of March, Rwanda will host for the first time the international French authors in the publishing sector, and authors say that this is a great opportunity to engage Rwandans to read and write. Jen Mutoni has the report.
The conference will be held from March 1st to 3rd, 2022 at the Francophone Cultural Center of Rwanda, which will bring together authors and professionals of the book and publishing sector from 11 countries across the globe. A large audience will be invited to come to these meetings, especially the youth, to explore several themes of Francophone literature and to exchange on the challenges in this sector. The French ambassador to Rwanda, Antoine Onfray, said that this conference is part of a long-term plan to expand the cooperation between Rwanda and France, as confirmed by the heads of state of Rwanda and France.
The idea to set up the Francophone Culture Center of Rwanda came from Presidents Emmanuel Macron and Paul Kagame in Paris in 2018. It was launched by President Macron and Madame Louise Mushikiwabo in May last year. Its initial priority was to promote French literature, culture, and art, even in non-French languages. So I think this conference of international authors, which will be held here next week, is in line with the vision.
Some professional Rwandan authors say that this initiative is a great opportunity for Rwandans to get to know other cultures and to develop a love for the culture of reading and writing. This initiative is a start to many progressions, because I don't believe that Rwandans don't like reading. It's just that books are not enough. And as we all know, we have very few libraries. And even if we have books, libraries have to be near to the people, because when they are near, one can easily access books on time. But when one has to travel a distance to get a book, it then becomes discouraging as one may not have the time to get it. There is a need for libraries near to the people and books, as more can be brought from abroad. Otherwise, the culture of reading has always been there, because personally I've spent the last 25 years writing books in the Makame edition, and children as well as adults do read them. So we found out that the problem is not that people don't like reading. The challenge lies in not having libraries near them or books to their disposal. Anyone interested to be a part of these meetings can attend at the Francophone Cultural Center of Rwanda, located in Kimihurura in Kigali. Authors that will attend this conference will also visit students at various schools in Kigali so as to encourage them to read and write books while they are still young. Jane Mutoni, RTV News.
Thank you, Jane, for that story. On to other matters. Street cleaners in different parts of Kigali say that this job helps them in supporting their family, and it also makes them happy to see the city clean because they play a big role in making it possible. Betty Mutoni with more.
At 6 a.m., most of cleaners start their work of sweeping, weeding and removing unnecessary materials in the street, which requires them to wake up early and walk a long journey in order to reach at work on time, as they explain.
I leave home at 5 a.m. and reach at work at 7 a.m.
It is must to reach at work before 6. They walk all this journey just because of passionate for their job and helps them to improve their standards of living, but also it makes them proud that the country is clean. When I reach, I immediately get my broom and start cleaning. I first pick rubbish and empty bottles, then after I sweep. This job supports me to get necessities. I never beg anyone. After cleaning and look back where I have cleaned, I feel happy because the place is smart and whoever passes feels the same way. And we are making sure that the meeting that Rwanda is chairing finds the country smart and clean.
I like this job because it keeps Kigali clean. Therefore, I have to play my role of cleaning in making sure that Kigali is smart. But also it helps me earn and support my family.
These cleaners say that it is their responsibility to make sure that the city is clean, but also they point fingers on some people who don't respect their work, where I find them dropping rubbish anywhere instead of helping them to clean the country.
I have been here for 6 years. It is okay to continue working, but we would like to request the people in charge to follow the rules that govern other workers. Just imagine working for all those years without a contract. no insurance. It is challenging. There is not even annual leave as others do.
Although these people like their job, they face challenges of not having contracts, insurances, and this worries them. They say that this will affect them after this work or in case of an accident. Patrick Kananga, the Director of Labour Administration at the Ministry of Public Service and Labour, says that the ministry is going to follow up this problem and encourages the employers and employees play their roles as well.
That is the reason why Kigali City should follow up. We earlier spoke to them, and they are working with the entrepreneurs to do all the ways possible to make sure that the laws that govern the workers are applied. And as the Ministry of Public Service and Labour, we are also making sure that the agreements are put into place.
Although it is their responsibility to make the city and the country clean, it should also be everyone's responsibility to make the country clean. Betty Mutoni, RwandaTV News.
Thank you very much, Betty, for the report. And as we move ahead, on Tuesday, Bold, Regen and Life Care Phyto Labs launched their chemical-free nutraceutics farm products in Rwanda. They plan to manufacture the food supplements in Rwanda. Some of the products are available in offline store for consumption. Sidi Patel has the report.
The key highlight of the launch of Bold Regains and Life Care Phytolabs partnership is to manufacture nutraceuticals without synthetic chemicals and hazards, with the support of National Industrial Research and Development Agency. The elements present in the phytomedicines will be extracted from plants, which then will be extracted, isolated, purified, and at last standardized. They tested samples in Rwanda and had good feedback. And they look forward to growing the medicinal plants locally, which will reduce the transportation expenses. Bold Regains has focused on 13 products as of now, which are liver health support, stomach care, diabetics, double stem cell, anti-aging, Coraphyte capsules, anxiety and stress, folic acid, curcumin capsules, weight management, male enhancement, blood pressure health, and female wellness. But they intend to mass produce cosmeceuticals and bioagro products in a month or two. Dr. Francis Habumugisha Goodrich, the CEO of Bold Regains and partner of National Industrial Research and Development Agency, NIRDA, plans to open numerous offline stores in Rwanda, as the testimony is giving positive comments.
So we have agreement with them to make the product for us as Bold Regains International. We are here in Rwanda, we have a branch in Congo, we have a branch in Tanzania, we have Kenya. So after using the product in different countries, in many people, the testimony are really good. Our headquarters is here in Rwanda, in Kigali, Miki 4th floor, but we are planning to have other more branches in Kigali city, like 3. But it will not be ours. We will give the investor to invest their money and to make the return, of course. And we want to open a shop in each district. We have started with the Musanze, Kayonza, and Lubavu, but soon we will open all districts. We are calling all investors to invest in health, to come and invest the money in this wonderful product. We will market it for them. We will support them to get the license from Rwanda FDA immediately. We will give them our name to use it where they will be selling. So we facilitate them in many things, because our purpose, it is our product to reach everywhere.
Dr. Oliver Kamana, the head of research in NIRDA, notes that they want to make this project on a large scale and produce much that they export to other countries as well.
NIRDA is launching a partnership with Bold Regains International and Life Care Phyto Labs from India. We will work together in the areas of product development. We will start by cultivating a number of plant species. After cultivation, we'll implement good manufacturing practices and start a processing plant. So this plant will be operating under the international guidelines and standards, and we shall conduct together product development and testing, and then we will launch a large-scale production that will be operated by Bold Regains International.
Professor Dr. A. Rajendran, who is the proprietor of Life Care Phytolabs based in India, who has his own patent in aloe vera cold pressing technology, ensures the citizens of Rwanda that their products are and will be without any negative effects.
I have started in my hometown. It's a drought area. So I have been closely associated with Dr. Abdul Kalam's former president of India. So one of the mission which I did a project in North India, that is in Sirsa, that is in Haryana. We started cultivating nearly about 1,000 acres. It started from 2 acres, 20 acres, then we expanded up to 1,000 acres. We created employment there. We created a bio-village concept. We created employment more than 1,000 people in one place. So that was attracted. And then the technology is patented by NRDC, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. My technology is patented. That's the Government of India only brought me here to meet your president.
The future projects of Life Care Phytolabs are ongoing in Athens, Greece, Malaysia, Singapore, and in a number of other countries.
Of course, we are doing projects in Ghana, and then we are working with Greece, Athens. We are working in Malaysia, and of course we have the company in Singapore, and we are doing a product for totally a chemical-free product for hair care solutions, the regrowth.
The idea of these products is to promote the idea prevention is better than cure. If people will invest in wealth, then it will lead to a healthy nation. Siddhi Patel, RTV News.
And of course, this marks the end of our tonight's edition. And on behalf of the entire news and technical team that made it happen, thank you very much for being with us. My name is Sam Kalisa.
And mine, Martina Avera.
Stay safe.
And have a great night.
Bye.